Hello guys and welcome back to daily number 7, and this replay was sent in by Kazuka, and this game is around 1800 ELO, I think. Not entirely sure as it's a duo queue game, so yeah. So they have, first off, they have Swain Maokai. That's like an insane good gank combo for mid, just especially in like solo queue, just because in solo queue everyone wants to sort of win their lane and play aggressive and things like that, but as you can see there, Swain's going to be like, he's going to be at such a disadvantage in the early game, and all he needs to do really is just sort of farm up a bit. He's probably going to lose any fight against Cassio until maybe like level 9, 10, 11, around there, sort of probably like level 11 where he gets his rank 2 and his ult. But at level 6, if Cassio manages to get a face full of ult onto him, then she's probably just going to burst him down very quickly. And that was a good play by Swain there, sort of slowing Cassiopeia and running away, dodging the Qs and things like that. But he did engage when Cassiopeia was a level above him, so it was a risky play, because she could have done quite a lot of damage to him then if she actually hit her stuff. That's the main reason I hate playing Cassiopeia, it just annoys me to hit all her spells. And he's got quite a big wave of creeps here coming up to the tower. It can be very frustrating when that happens. And Swain doesn't have that great clear early game. But Maokai should definitely be coming to gank mid now. It's just such a free kill. She just comes in from the side. She's so far pushed out. But he gets level 4 now. And see, Maokai's coming in through the mid brush here. It's just an extremely common mistake you see from, let's say, like most junglers, is that she has so much time. He can't even get in W range. She has so much time to just run back a little bit. That's all she has to do. But if he comes from here, you know, if she's pushed out like to this, then the chance is increased by maybe like 50% to get the gank off. So we have Yorick against Nasus. I've heard a lot about this matchup recently. Nasus actually started with regrowth, which isn't too bad. I've heard things like if Nasus buys lifesteal and enough regen and things like that, he can actually beat Yorick, just simply because Yorick wins by out-sustaining and harassing the enemy out of the lane. And Nasus actually has quite a lot of sustain, and champions like Nasus, Aurelia, and things like that can sort of just out-farm Yorick to victory and win trades later on. Maokai's actually a level above him, and Nautilus hasn't done his red yet, because he would have it if he had done it. And Maokai's deciding to go around the proper way this time. He couldn't have heard me. But Swain sort of... Yeah, see, this is what I was talking about. This is why it's so deadly. It's just chain stunned CC, and Swain now is going to have an advantage. If he gets that catalyst, it's going to be hard for Cassio to burst him down unless Nautilus comes and ganks. So they both sort of have really nice gank combos. It's sort of like a skill matchup between who can not get ganked better, or who can gank better, I guess, if you want to look at it like that as well. But I would say it's a sort of a skill matchup between who can not get ganked better. So I guess Maokai's ganked maybe twice already, so that's good. And he can just get catalyst, which is, it's always nice to just be able to afford what you want. However, he can't get a ward, but Maokai picked up 2 for him, so that's fine. Taric Ashe. I don't really like that combo that much. Some people like it, but maybe Ashe would be good with Taric just for the armor buff you gain to help against Graves a bit and sort of stop Ashe from getting owned. But it looks like she's getting owned anyway. Cassio actually didn't get a ward unless she placed it really quickly. But she's actually got quite a lot of AP there. Yeah, she doesn't have any magic resist runes, Cassiopeia. Really don't like that choice. And Swain does have magic resist runes, but he's only got 7%. He's going for a gank up on top, which is, if he lands his stun correctly, that can be an easy kill. Yeah, see, once again, that same combo. Just Maokai W, and then straight into Swain W. Insane amount of CC, and Maokai actually does quite a lot of damage early as well. I wonder what Cassiopeia is going to be doing there. And the spell effect on that ultimate is just awesome. It's so good. I'm not sure why Nasus is complaining. Either way. Yep. That's the thing about Swain, is that his ultimate still goes off. His ultimate still goes off while he's stunned, I guess. I mean, I don't know if that's actually a proper stun. I don't know if that's actually a proper stun, but his ultimate still was running then, so... And he had the catalyst, so he couldn't really be bursted so quick. And maybe it would have worked for Cassiopeia if Swain wasn't ahead so early, I guess. Maybe it would have worked out. But first, before I talk about anything else, I just want to say, if you're going to play Swain, never buy Doran's Rings. I actually just hate it on Swain. It's just so useless, I think. And if you're going to play Nasus, don't buy Trinity Force first item, buy cooldown reduction and sack your Q. But you shouldn't play Nasus anyway, unless you're versus Yorick, so... Yeah, they definitely need that blue buff. And Maokai probably should have... He's still got that ward in his bags. He probably should have just warded here on the other side. I'm not sure why he hasn't done it, and they're both going to collect blue at the same time. A Vamp Scepter could do Nasus a great deal of good here. Would really help him out. And Swain managed to get his blasting one. It's just going to be terror for Cassiopeia in lane now. When you're... Swain's really good at mid-ish game. He's got an okay early game, but he's really good at mid sort of game. And it's going to be terror for Cassiopeia now to beat the Swain. One of the most common mistakes, actually, that I see Swain players do is leaving that ulti on too much and just basically draining all of their mana, even if they have blue buff, because it does. See, it increases by 5 mana each second. You sort of need to use it in little rounds of burst with your ultimate. And you can see Nautilus coming up here, so he shouldn't get ganked if he plays correctly. That was close. But he couldn't look at his map at the same time to see, he didn't look at his map at the same time to see, Maokai coming in at the same time. And he should be able to get the kill off on Cassio as well. Nope. He left his ult on for quite a long time then. And it basically ran him out of mana completely. If you're getting to around half mana and you have your ult on, you just kind of need to just say fuck it and turn your ult off, I think. It's better doing that than running out of mana. I mean, if you just run out of mana, you're useless anyway, so... And you're just going to die the same. You might as well just let your blue buff tick up a bit, wait for the cooldown of your ult and slap it on again. Maybe that could be a good reason to buy some cooldown reduction on Swain. Not too much, I wouldn't buy cooldown reduction boots or anything, but... Just buy a bit of cooldown reduction so you can get your ult back up quicker. Now this is a good opportunity to go and gank bot because I'm not sure if they actually have gotten wards there. No, it doesn't look like they have. But Ash just sort of needs to man up a bit and go. I would just go right now. No, won't be able to get a kill now. That is a bad use of flash from Ash there. Very, very bad. And I think Swain should have waited. If he just waited for Tarek to do a stun and then did his W after he was stunned, and he's sort of wasting quite a lot of time here. Probably might be able to get caught off. Yeah, but he should have waited for Tarek to do his stun and then do his stun while the target was stunned as well. To just sort of, because he missed the stun there, and it's a guaranteed secondary CC if he does it when Tarek's done his. Because Graves just sort of dashed out of control of it. And you can see he's turning around quite a bit here to not get ulted by Cassio, but maybe he shouldn't be so afraid because he got ulted before by her and it didn't really do anything. And if she stays in range with his ulti, she'll die as well. And she was very, very low then. She's probably going to have to go back. See, if Maokai sort of looked what was going on, he probably could have gone around behind and just ganked her quite easily. Because she really wants to go back, she's so afraid. But if he had the sort of foresight to see, he could have just known she was diveable and just went around and probably just killed her by himself. But Swain would have been able to help anyway, so... And this is always nice. When you've sent them back, you need to just push the wave into the tower, get a free recall, and you're probably back before even losing a wave. But yeah, if I was Maokai right now, I would probably buy an Oracle, because he's gotten 3 assists and he's got both his gold for 5s already. He just needs to get an oracle and start clearing out wards, so he makes it easier to for him to just roam around and get a bunch of ganks off. But Cassiopeia now actually bought a Negatron. I'm not sure if that was a wise choice or a bad choice. I think it probably was a good choice because she seems to be getting just one-shot comboed by Swain now. Now he's got his Rod of Ages in a couple minutes when it stacks up a little bit. It's going to be very difficult for her to deal with the damage. So maybe it was a good choice to just buy the Rod of Ages and farm. I mean, buy the Negatron and farm. Although Swain will probably see this and know he's going to take a lot less damage from her burst and just sort of maybe he could play a bit more aggressive if he was playing correctly. They're doing a bit of a crazy dive here onto bottom. Yeah, Ash just pushed out way too far then. It's a big mistake from her. She's complaining, don't ever come bottom now, but it was completely 100% her fault why 3 people died then. Graves got a triple kill then, and it was just completely Ash's fault, in my opinion, anyway. But, yeah. Swain's got 4 kills now by himself. I don't think he should try and stop this, really. Maybe he can sort of scare them away and kill that ward. But, I mean, there's 3 people there. No, his ult is healing too much, and he also has flash still. Yeah, that was a big mistake from Swain then. It was 4 people. He's not at that sort of stage where he can kill 4 people by himself. Especially Nautilus, who's basically got quite a lot of resist and health as well. Graves actually only has a BF sword, so that was BF sword and Berserker Grooves. That was why he was doing quite a bit of damage after they couldn't kill him. It was not a good choice to keep saying. And Nasus is actually just rushing complete gold for 5. And the idea of the Yorick Nasus lane is that you can sort of build some Vamp Scepters and some other sustain and just farm. But you can't do that with the gold for 5. Like, Yorick will push him out of lane if he's only building gold for 5. He needs to build some sort of sustain as well. But maybe they'll be able to get a Drake. Yeah, I don't know if it's a good idea to fight because maybe they can kill the Graves here. It's quite a big amount of damage because if he's got 0 Doran's Blades, right, that means he's basically just got his base health and his magic resist, and then he just takes true damage after that. So Swain actually was quite fed, and Graves wasn't focusing Swain at all. And Swain could just easily just take him down, and he's now actually got a killing spree from that. It's really good. But he might go down here. It's just so difficult to kill Swain unless you've got a ton of burst and an ignite. It's pretty much the only way you can kill him. So he probably should have turned his ult off a bit earlier there, when it wasn't hitting anyone, I think. But they need to take this blue. It's very important. He needs to place this ward down as well. Probably, like, here would be the best choice to place it. So they really want this blue still. Tarek should not really be going in like that. He's not the sort of hero he thinks he is. But if I was this Swain, I'd probably clear mid a little bit and go buy Sorcerer Boots. Although they do have quite a bit of CC, at least like Cassiopeia Nautilus has quite a bit of CC and mid, so maybe Merc Treads is the ideal choice, but you just lose quite a lot of damage by going Merc Treads, that's why I'm not exactly a fan of it. And I so hope he buys some wards here when he goes back. Yeah, good man. Maybe he should help out Toph a little bit though, because let me check the farm. 110 to 102 actually, even though Yorick has 2 kills, so Nasus is actually doing okay. It's because Yorick's also building gold for 5, and I don't think you ever really want to build gold for 5 against Nasus because it takes away some of your ability to stop him from farming. So you really want the gold you put into the gold for 5 to just sort of be extra damage for you to block them from getting CS, I guess. And he also built tier on top of that, which is 1,000 gold, just literally only on mana, which isn't going to benefit him in stopping Nasus from farming. You know, because he only has his base damage really right now. The rest of it is just a little bit of health and mostly mana regen. And Nasus is also queuing those mobs as well to get some health back. But I think Nasus now is going to rush Trinity Force, which is just completely the opposite of what he wants to do. I mean, maybe he could get a Sheen early, because it gives you some extra mana, you know, to stack up your Q. And if you get that combined with a Glacial Shroud, it can really help out. But he really wants that Glacial Shroud as quick as he possibly can, because on Nasus, you don't need the Trinity Force to do a lot of damage. All you need is the stacks from the Q. And buying Glacial Shroud also helps in, like, just being 10 times more tanky. So you get the same amount of damage just with the Q stacks, you know, rather than the Trinity Force, and you just get more tanky. Pretty much. Maybe not the same, just slightly less. But still worth doing that. What the farm is like. Graves has a lot of farm. He has a good 37 farm on Ashe. Which is never good to see. And when you go the sort of rush infinities and things like that, without any Dorans, that's sort of a panic Cassio ult there. Yeah, when you rush the sort of BF and infinities and stuff like that really fast without any Dorans, it pays off later on, but it's worse earlier. Because you just put more of your gold into getting damage and going into late game, rather than buying some Dorans which help you early. But yeah, if you can get away with buying the BF sword and going completely squished, then it's definitely worth doing. Just as long as you can sustain and lane with it. Maybe if you have a Soraka or something like that. See, Ashe probably should have just arrowed Janna then. It's a common mistake I see a lot of Ashe players make, is that they're just too afraid to arrow people. Like, you should be using Ashe arrow as much as you possibly can, because otherwise it's pointless. It's not that good in the team fight really, and if you're playing against like decent players, you're most likely not going to catch someone by themselves with Ashe arrow and then just all pile onto them. It's usually not going to happen. The best way to use Ashe arrow is just like for getting kills in lane, basically, like Ashe Nocturne or just Ashe something with some movement speed to get in a bit quicker. I mean, even Ashe Maokai is okay, really. Maokai can sort of wait like near the tower. Ashe has an arrow, Maokai jumps in. Anything can work with it. But I think Ashe isn't that bad against Graves, as people seem to think. It's just Taric isn't that good against Graves. He has the armor, which helps against Graves, but aside from doing one little stun to stop him from getting a lot of damage off, there's not really much else he can do. Like, because Graves is so short range, a champion like Nunu is really good against Graves, because you can sort of like, if you have a long range AD carry and then you have Nunu against Graves, you can just literally kite Graves around. If you have like Kog'Maw Nunu against Graves, that's like what I pick basically every time against Graves, is Kog'Maw Nunu or Nunu something at least. You can just kite him around and slowly take him down, especially if they don't have any sustain. People don't realise it, but if you have Nunu, that also gives you some sustain, because you're basically just attacking quicker with any sort of lifesteal that you have. So that can be an added bonus. That's why sometimes I like to go lifesteal Quints on AD when I'm with Nunu. Can be quite beneficial. Maybe if he didn't use his W there to try and clear the wave, he could have got Cassio with it. But yeah, I don't think that's the problem sometimes as jungler. There's no way really for Nautilus to gank mid, because Cassio's just losing so hard by herself. And Maokai's rush Shurelias here. I've never really been a fan of rushing Shurelias on Maokai like that. Just simply because unless you can get it super quick, then it's really good. But if you can't, unless you can get it really quick, then I don't know, it's not that beneficial. I think Ashe also did her ulti a bit too early here. If he had Ignite, he would have been able to get a kill off there. It still gets anyway. That's good. The best thing is when you kill someone after they've used basically all of their summoners. It's so nice to do that. And that's really the only reason you're going to take Taric, is when there's going to be a lot of activity in bot lane. If somehow you know there's going to be very little activity in bot lane, like there's not going to be that much fighting or something, then you wouldn't want to take Taric, because he's not useless, but he's just not as good as other supports outside of the laning phase. Really, like Taric's quite good at roaming and he's quite good at having fights in the laning phase, but rather than that, he's not that strong. This game's quite equal so far. Swain's very, very fed. The thing with Swain is when he gets really, really fed, it's quite difficult for you to focus him down, because as you can see, this Swain's already got 2.5k health and he already heals so much by himself, so yeah, it's quite a predicament. They just need to get Ashe a few more kills, because Graves is 40 CS above. And I guess it sort of just depends on how well Graves plays, and Yorick has actually got 3 gold for 5. I'm not sure why he bought Avarice, since he does auto attack, but he's not really a boss auto attacker like Tryndamere or Gangplank or something like that. So yeah, I wouldn't advise buying Avarice on Yorick. Cassiopeia is sort of building Negatron and then going into Catalyst. Like, it's good to buy a Negatron if you're getting owned, like against maybe like a LeBlanc or something like that. But you don't want to build a Negatron and then go straight into Catalyst. It's really not what you want to do. Cassiopeia is actually on a rampage now. Strange. She's got 4. She just went from 0-2 to 4-2, I suppose. But I think they can do something here, because Maokai's actually put his ultimate down. That will just... Oh, it didn't do that much. But Maokai's ultimate, I've had it a few times where it's just done a hell of a lot of damage to me. With characters like Swain, though, you sort of need to have the balance of buying enough health to be useful and buying enough AP to be useful. It's just... I don't know. I think if he bought a Ryalize now, he would need to get a death cap afterwards, or maybe instead of buying a Ryalize, he could have bought a an Abyssal. That would be quite good, to be honest. As Maokai's going to do some magic damage as well. Nasus does a little bit of magic damage. If he bought the Abyssal, I would have said buying Abyssal here probably would have been the better choice over Ryalize. Ashe has got her Infinity Edge now, but Graves... He hasn't got that much items over her, so that's good. He just seems to be farming a lot more efficiently, and they always seem to be pushed under their turret, which has caused the turret now to actually drop to like 400 health, while I bet... Yeah, this one has actually only lost 100 health, so... that just seems to be a common theme in low elo bot lanes, is that one lane will lose... Not like they'll die constantly, but they'll sort of just get pushed into their turret all the time, and then they'll just lose on CS loads, and the tower will get really, really low, and things like that. Strange sort of gank here. It's quite a useless ultimate there by Nautilus. It's sort of... It felt like a forced ultimate, like he really wanted something to happen, but he's just trying to force it when it couldn't. Ooh, that was a nice hook though. But that was a bad move from Graves then. He just rushed right in. Yeah, it wasn't a terribly good move from Graves here. Maybe if Cassiopeia gets a nice ulti off, they can do something. But she might just die too quickly. She sort of just stood still then. It's a bit strange. Yeah, Ashe is not doing the greatest amount of damage. That's pretty much the only reason why I don't like playing Ashe, is that if you don't get at least a couple kills before team fights start happening, like, unless you get at least one, or you make up for it by farming like a boss or getting loads of dragons and things like that, it's you sort of don't do as much damage as other carries, like say Graves or Cog or things like that. But Swain really needs to go buy now. I think he can actually buy Ryalize straight up. Yeah. And I would definitely go Rabadons after that. Maybe Zhonya's. I've actually seen a lot of Swains have good success with Zhonya's, actually. He kind of leaves his ulti on quite a long time then. and it drains a lot of mana when you do that just for no reason, because if you're not hitting anyone, then there's really, no point to have your ulti on. That's like literally the hardest part about playing Swain, aside from hitting your W. That's the second hardest part. Oh, so he decided to buy an Abyssal instead of... That's actually a really, really good choice in items, I think. Getting the health, the big health belt, so he's a bit more durable, and then getting the Abyssal so he does more damage and can survive, because they have a fair amount of magic damage. Like YOURUSER has quite a bit of magic damage, and Nautilus does, and Cassiopeia does, so yeah, that's a really good item choice there. And what is Cassiopeia buying? She is going for that 27-minute rod, I suppose. Is not such a good item choice there. And YOURUSER is just ticking those gold 5s though. It's really going to be strong later on if they manage to drag it out a bit. But Nass is just sitting up top farming. So he's got that Glacial now, that's really good. And it's probably smart of him to buy the Negatron as well, because it's all well and good buying Frozen Heart and things like that, but if you're just going to get destroyed by magic damage, it doesn't matter. It'll probably be 4v5 if they fight here. Haven't seen Ash really use Hawkshot all that much. It's can be quite beneficial if you're just sort of Hawkshotting around whenever you can. But all they need to do really is just group up and get Ash to arrow someone. This seems like she's quite reluctant to arrow someone, which is not a good trait to have when you're playing Ash. Yeah, because Nasus has actually got teleport, they're sort of just... If I was in the blue team, I would just literally force to do the dragon. But it seems like the purple team wanted it, I'm not sure why. See, their focus now is Swain, which is not good, because Swain is just insanely tanky. See, look how he drops to like 20% life and doesn't manage to die, and actually Graves dies there. That is just the power of Swain, basically. Dropping to 20% life and not dying. It's just so strong. Yep. If you focus Swain, he doesn't go down. If you don't focus him, he does too much damage. Thanks for watching, guys, and mainly the replays I'm looking for is like there's some general rules. No 4v5s. Please ranked games only. And that's all I can think of, actually. But yeah, thanks for watching, and if you liked it, please subscribe.